We could just do that, and that would probably
just what we should do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we get flagged for that.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, what's going on, Legionnaires? Welcome to another episode of the Legion of Comic Correction, where we talk all things comic books.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, it's not. Yeah.
Some of it, a lot of it is.
Some of it is.
A lot of it is.
A good portion of it is.
A good bit.
A good bit. All right, guys, we are talking today.
Opinion.
Well, no, I think most people's opinion.
Yeah.
I think we're going to. I mean, this show is based on our opinions.
Yes. Yes.
But I think we're going to share it with.
We're talking about Black Adam.
The real Superman. No, we're talking about Superman because Superman, the new Superman movie, 2025, is coming out end of this week.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this right when we drop it, you'll probably hear this right before you go if you're going to opening weekend. We're going to opening weekend.
Sure.
Yeah. So the new James Gunn Superman's coming out, and we thought we would do an episode. I
don't know. We'll see how it goes.
The new one?
Yeah, I'm not fully sold.
Well, that's good.
Is it going to be
keeping yourself tempered?
Or is it going to be garbage?
Well, we're going to find out.
I don't know.
The trailer's looking pretty hot.
Let me rephrase. Let me just say.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too.
I legitimately hope I'm wrong. I just don't. It's been...
Yeah,
DC
has cut
is
hard.
just like
burn that bridge.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like when we don't get good stuff from DC.
Not
it
often.
just doesn't happen.
Sometimes.
And so I don't. Here's the thing. Like the good stuff from DC, we've been so far removed from it for so long. It's really
the
like
Batman?
we scrape.
Yeah.
We'll take anything from the table. From the table.
The crumbs.
Crumbs.
We're like Frodo and
Crumbs.
on Mount Doom with the water. Just,
yeah. You're trying. Well,
we're dying. So I hope
we're dying inside.
I hope it is good. I just
like James Gunn.
doubt it will be.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, in honor of it,
yes,
we are talking through the most recent Superman movies, and as a Legion,
we're really even the most recent, just Superman movies.
Yeah.
Well, we're skipping out a few that were like real old.
Real old.
We're just talking about ones from the last 40 years.
So
older than all of us.
No, not much. But we're going to talk about those. Yeah, we're getting close. And we're going to rank them. So we've got 6 movies to talk about today, and we're going to rank them through and see if they maybe fall where you think they fall. If they don't, tell us. Tell us in the comments. Let us know where you think these 6 Superman movies rank, and then we're going to give our honest opinion. You already started giving it about how we think James Gunn's DCU movie kickoff, because this is really his first movie.
If you're not a millennial like these guys, and you're like me, just skip past to the end. Where the good ones are.
Aren't you also a millennial?
I don't know where I am.
He's real close. If he's
You're
not.
a
I'm like
millennial.
on the border.
We're elder millennials.
They're like
we're all
I'm like
millennials.
wait, what's the current one?
We're all millennials.
Gen Z.
I'm a zillennial.
No,
Stop
you're not.
it. Get
I
out
don't
of
know
here.
what I am.
All right, well, guys, if you
I'm myself. That's what I am.
I'm Harry.
Sometimes I act more mature than both of these guys.
That's 100% true,
That's
but
true.
that isn't what we're
Combined.
talking about right now.
Age
Are we
does not-
talking about maturity, or are we talking about what
yeah.
we're labeled by
age,
society?
Age does not equate
And not labeled by
maturity.
ourselves.
Right.
Because if I was labeling myself, I would be Batman. And I choose that every
Spider-Man.
time.
Oh, there's been a few times you haven't chosen. I did, and you're real upset about it.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Go back to other episodes and watch those.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
True. You missed out.
But just because
If you find what episode it's in, I will Venmo you
chose
$5.
it, just because you chose it,
Just saying.
doesn't mean I don't still identify as Batman.
I guess you're allowed to.
You're more of a Deathclaw kind of guy.
Ooh.
Anyway, we're going to be talking about Superman.
Ooh, we're talking about Superman. All right, guys, if you like comic podcasts and you want to see how this turns out, like and subscribe. Hit that bell. Hit that bell, guys. Liking and subscribing is the easiest way to help our podcast. It's free. You can do it really quickly. Just go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Grab that subscribe button, and then you can turn us off if you want to. You don't have to listen to us anymore.
Good.
But we
You
want
could.
you subscribed.
You could
because
get one of these signed by
most of
me.
our- Really?
Maybe.
most of our subscribers or most of our watchers are not subscribers. We're like 87% of you guys who watch are not subscribed. So let's get that number down. Let's bring our subscribe number up and click that button. If you want to help in a bigger way, there are links in the description below. One goes to legionofcc.com, where you can grab our merch store and get sweet merch like, well, no, you can't. That is a special that came to our Patreon members for our 5-year anniversary.
Patreon.
They could get it, or they could have gotten it.
But I have that.
You got it. But you can get sweet merch like this.
Yep.
And nope, that one too.
Nope, that one
Can't
is.
do that one.
Do
you have another one over there that's not garbage? Hey, you get that one. Yay!
For a moment, and then remove it.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. All the money from our merch store goes directly into
buying more Batarangs.
No, it goes into making the show better for you guys because we couldn't do it without you.
By buying more Batarangs.
You sold me on Batarangs.
Well, you bought that one.
I did buy that
with
one.
your own money.
Where's the one I bought?
Wait.
There's one you bought.
One of them
Where did it go?
And one of them I bought.
It's right in front of you, Harry. It's right there.
Yeah.
No,
I lost my Batarang.
Don't close that. We
Which
want things
one?
to stop.
It's fine.
All right, fine.
It's just crap.
Which one did I buy you?
The broken one.
This one.
All right, guys, if you want to help in an even bigger way, you can go to our Patreon. There are 3 tiers there to join. They all give you really great stuff, including behind-the-scenes photos, videos, extra podcasts, chance to vote on things, and, like that hat, free gifts every month.
That's
so if you join now, whatever month we're in, you have a chance to get that free gift, absolutely free, sent to your address that you want to have sent to.
I really like mine, but I also really like Harry's.
Yeah, they're both pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves this one here, so you can wear it whenever you want.
Oh, that's right. that's mine now.
That's mine now.
All right, guys. Today we're talking again about all the most current 6 Superman movies, and we have an honorable mention in there as well. We'll talk about, and we're going to rank them together. So the
as
first
a team,
as a
squad, fighting for where we would put it together.
Yes, unified,
Maybe.
That's right.
Yeah.
A league of people.
A league of people,
almost like a league
fighting.
Yes.
all as one.
Yes.
We're going to disagree on everything, probably.
I don't think so.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
We're going to be that far apart.
Harry's coming in cold. All right. First movie.
Yes.
Superman, the movie. Christopher Reeves. Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Was it Margaret Kidder as Lois Lane? I think it's Margaret Kidder.
Do we know what year that was?
1982, maybe? I can't remember. Just put in Christopher Reeves.
I remember the
Superman
movie.
1.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember the year.
Classic, right? Classic Lex
Very
Luthor,
classic.
real
Very
estate
classic.
mogul trying to buy up things.
Mhm.
And Superman flies backwards around the Earth to turn back in time to save Lois Lane
Yeah,
from
I don't
dying in
really
that
like
avalanche.
the time travel part.
You never do.
Never good. This is one of the worst time travels.
Oh, it's horrible because he just stopped the Earth and spun it back. They all flew out into space.
Yeah, and it also creates the situation where you're like, you could do that anytime.
Right.
Like any moment.
But did he create a branch reality?
1978.
No.
78? I thought it was 81.
Not in.
Jeez.
He did not create a
No
branch,
branch
reality.
reality.
That
He just
did not
reversed
exist
it.
back then.
Just reversed
He
time.
just changed it up. Yeah.
We also get like the origin of Superman. We get to see. I remember. I still remember the scene where he's a kid and he's like running through the cornfield, like keeping up with the train.
Yeah.
And it looks. I mean, atrocious.
Yeah.
We get to see Pa Kent die, heart attack on the farm. Right. All the classic Superman tropes.
Yes.
Right.
Very classic.
What do we
Very
think?
classic.
I mean, Christopher Reeves putting a lot of work to get big.
Yeah.
Have you heard the story about when he auditioned?
No.
He went in and he was like, "Crap, I didn't work out at all for this." And so he wore like 7 sweaters.
Oh,
to
great.
make himself look big, and he went in, and they were like, "It's great, like we want you to be big for this, blah blah blah." And he got the part, and he's like, "Crap, now I got to work out."
Now I got to work out.
he went and worked out, and he for that time he looked great. He looked like a Superman. So.
Height. Yeah, he was the classic Superman look.
Yeah,
yeah. So we have to also with this, we can move.
Right, we can move him around, jockey him.
But we also like this early on. We're kind of like. Okay, where would we put it?
One's the best, 6 is the worst.
I'm going to put it at 3.
3? What are you laughing at?
What? That's your immediate reaction? Sweet Lord.
No. This is the island.
Are you?
It's horrible. This is why.
Reading the summary of
no.
Did you start searching for and then
no?
What happened?
What did you
no,
do?
I looked up how.
Oh no.
Big was Christopher Reeves.
Okay.
Of course, a couple of the drop downs where he's in a wheelchair or whatever. But
he's no longer with us.
Well, I looked up how big is Christopher Reeves AI overview. Christopher Reeve is not alive. Thank you, AI.
Thank you, AI.
Carry
so
on.
helpful.
Christopher Reeves is no longer a size because he's not alive.
Yeah, they're like, in literal form, he
6
is
feet
dust.
under.
In the
That's
It's like that. Thank you.
Does it really say in literal form he's dust?
No, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
good.
No, it's the literal
I
form.
mean,
He's
hey.
6 feet under.
6
That's
feet.
it.
6
Yeah.
feet. I think you. Can I guess? I think he was
How tall he was?
Yeah,
Sure.
tall and weight.
Why are we
Sure.
guessing this? I don't feel like this is a
Big
guess
Superman.
thing. All right,
He's
whatever.
I could say he's 6'3", 222 pounds.
Ooh,
That's
I'm
my
going to
guess.
say he's 6'2" and 202 pounds.
Oh, okay.
You said 202. You said how much?
222. I said 6'3". He said 6'2".
222. Okay. You're both wrong,
Great.
but you're both close.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
How tall was he?
6'4".
Oh, I was
Oh,
closser.
wow.
All right.
He's
He was.
taller
I
than
knew he was.
thought.
I knew he was tall. I
And
knew
he
he was
was.
tall.
You guys are exactly in the middle. He was 612 pounds.
Wow.
I mean, no.
612. We're right in the middle.
612 pounds.
Dude, man, he got the
He's a man of steel.
Oh, you mean he was 6 miles
Yes,
tall?
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I can't even do the joke. I can't even pretend.
Larry.
And she's like lying on his. She's like,
He can't get off the ground to fly.
she's like, can you read my mind? Oh my word, 212 pounds.
212. He was
212.
188,
212.
and he went up to
See that?
212.
188, and he
That's-
bulked
that's-
up because again he went
that's
in.
some gain.
He was 212
24 pounds,
with
yeah.
the sweaters on,
Muscle.
and
That's
then
some
Sweaters.
gain.
with the sweaters.
The nice
The
sweet.
All right, so he's
Sweaters.
a pretty imposing Superman.
All right.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious. I'm curious how he ranks up to Routh and Cavill, and then Cornsweat. We'll
right,
look at the
Cornsweat.
because the idea of what a Superman looks like has changed over the years too.
Very much
So you're
so.
going to put him at 3.
I'm
The
putting
first
the
Superman
first Superman at 3.
3. All right. What
Yeah.
do you put in the first Superman at there? Ox King.
What are we doing out of?
6.
6.
So 6 is the
Like,
worst.
that's-
1 is the best.
Yeah.
I agree with 3.
3.
I agree.
Three's a
I
solid.
would agree. We're gonna rank up at the same
Yeah.
thing here. 3 is
3.
a solid number.
Yeah, I mean, seeing pictures of him like working out, I know it sounds weird, but like the dude was big.
He's
Yeah.
a big dude.
He's
He was
big.
6'4" is tough to like.
Yeah.
He was a long dude. Like he was
Yeah.
not.
He
like,
is
was
long.
He was kind of gangly.
6'4"? Yeah.
Well, but he was also like you can be 6'4" and not gangly depending on your genetics. But he was like he was pretty gangly, especially at 188 pounds at 6'4".
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
188 pounds. That's my weight, and I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
Like that's a beanpole.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bulked up. That was good for him,
Yeah.
especially for back
Good
then.
stuff.
All right, so that's Superman 1. Superman 2.
Yeah.
That we saw Zod
Yes.
and what's his princess's name or
I don't
his
know.
love interest's name? I can't remember her
I
name.
don't remember
And
her
the
name.
big and then the big quiet dude.
Talia al Ghul.
Yes,
no,
that's what it was.
Yes,
That's what it was.
Yeah, League of
Who are
Shadows.
you talking about?
Who's the girl? It's the girl
Eve
bad guy.
Teschmacher?
No,
That's her name.
No, that's Lex,
From-
Lex Luthor's girlfriend.
From
Laura?
Laura? No. It's the girl with the pixie cut. She got a pixie cut. She's a bad guy. She's a bad guy Kryptonian with General
Bad
Zod.
guy Kryptonian.
General Zod. If you Google search like General Zod's,
Ursa?
yes, Ursa.
Sarah Douglas.
Ursa.
Yeah, she was great. She was intimidating. And the big
Michael
dude,
Shannon is a much better
Zod.
Zod.
I think so, but I
Yeah.
think he also reflects the current day ability to write villains. I think
True.
the written villain, if they had written the guy who played Zod in Superman 2 the way they wrote Michael Shannon, I think he would have done pretty good because he was pretty scary. Remember those eyebrows?
Yeah.
He had those like big.
He had a good look.
He
He had a good look.
The V-neck, the
Yep.
sparkly sequin black V-neck. It was a great look.
Good look.
Good look.
Good look.
What? Just real quick, what is the first thing you think about in like this was really dated? Like it looks really dated in that movie. Can you think of what I'm thinking
Them
of?
flying.
I mean, that was bad. That's not what I was thinking
Them
of.
flying is really bad
It was
in that
bad.
movie.
It was worse, I think, than the first movie.
Yeah, 100%.
But
I
there
agree.
was a worse thing.
What do you think?
When he throws the Superman symbol at him in the Fortress of
yeah, that's
Solitude,
really
and
bad.
it like wraps around him. It's like
Oh,
yellow
yeah.
cellophane.
Yeah,
It's
that
really
looks
bad.
real bad.
Really
That's
bad.
a great point.
Yeah,
I
but
still can't get over their
78
flying,
though.
1978?
1978.
Wait, no, that was Superman 1.
No, that was
what were we
initial
talking
It
one.
was Superman 2.
Superman 2.
When was Superman 2? Was that 81?
Also 78. That's how well they were putting out
Same
movies back then.
Well, hey, talk about
1980.
89. 2 years. 2 years. That's pretty good. That's pretty comparable.
Yeah.
Yeah, sequel, 2 years. But talk about comic book accurate.
Yeah.
They had the Phantom Zone.
Yes.
And they imprisoned
there
them.
are a lot of comparative pieces.
And the Fortress of Solitude made a big appearance in this one in a much bigger role than in the first movie.
Marlon Brando is
He's his father. I mean, he's his father in the first one, too.
In the first one, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Jor-El. I like the white hair.
Jor-El.
Yeah. Overall, I think they learned a lot from the first one.
They did.
And they did a good
There are
job.
a lot of improvements on it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Christopher Reeves, I think, felt more comfortable in the role.
Sure.
He was a great, they're talking a lot about, obviously it hasn't come out yet while we're recording this. They're talking a lot about Cornsweat's ability to be Clark and how different his Clark is from his Superman. And Christopher Reeves really did that well.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk of comparison between Cornsweat and Reeves.
Yes.
Because he's obviously not Henry Cavill.
British.
Well, he's just not the size of Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
No, Cornsweat definitely is not.
Yeah.
But Henry Cavill is also a genetic monster.
Well, and Henry Cavill, in no world, in no place, in no time, is going to convince me he's not Superman.
Sure.
When he's playing Clark. If he walks into the
100%.
Daily Planet, I'm like, you're Superman.
Well, we'll talk about that about Cornsweat, and I'll bring
No, I'm just saying.
No, but
Henry
there's something
Cavill,
interesting.
Henry Cavill, you're Clark Kent?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're Superman.
When he walked in at the end of Man of Steel and was like Clark Kent, he was way too suave. Like, he was like, you're way too good looking to be Clark Kent.
Yes.
Like, you still look just as physical.
Yes.
Even when he, like, we'll talk about that when we get to Man of Steel.
That later.
Yeah. Reeves, I think, knocked it out of the park again. And Margaret Kidder was great as Lois again. She's the new girl, Rachel Bosm. I can't remember her last. Starts with a B.
She's like the perfect.
She looks like Margaret Kidder.
Well, she's like the what was her name? Margaret Kidder.
Margaret Kidder. Yeah.
She's like the perfect damsel in distress.
Yeah, she's great.
She was like.
But she's still a pip.
Always.
She's still a pip. Like, she's feisty.
Yeah, but her being a pip also always got her into trouble.
That's because she went after supervillains like General Zod. Is it Margaret Kidder, man? Can you look that up? I keep saying that, and I'm just afraid I'm going to be wrong.
We're making up a name.
I don't think we're making one up. It just might not be the right actress. For the Lois in
That's a
Christopher
name.
Reeves. Well, it could be a real actress.
What was it again?
Margaret Kidder.
As an actress in Superman 2?
It doesn't matter. Any of the Christopher Reeves. It was the Lois and the Christopher Reeves.
And
all
the same.
Yeah, I think it's Margaret Kidder. I
think
Margaret Kidder, yeah.
Yes, good. My
Nailed
memory
it. Good memory, sir.
I do.
Good memory, sir.
Actually, the original 4 Christopher Reeves movies box set is on my entertainment display, like right in the front.
Yeah.
They hold a special place in my heart. They were some of the first superhero movies that my dad ever showed me.
Are you trying to channel your Clark Kent with these new glasses too, by the way?
His were more like my old, actually.
No, but I know, but I'm just saying, like,
am I trying to disguise the fact that I'm a genetic freak?
Yeah, exactly, with the amount of muscle you put on and everything.
I'm doing a really good job because I look pretty small. Comparatively. All right, where would you put Superman 2?
2.
Second.
I'm putting it as 2.
What do you think, man?
Second most important.
Second
important.
best of the Superman movies. So we got nothing in number 1 and then 4.
I'm putting that 2.
You're going to put that 4?
4!
All right, cool. You
think it's worse than Superman?
The first movie?
You're going to put 2 others in front of this?
Mm-hmm.
In your mind right now?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the Ox...
I'm going to struggle with this. We need to figure this out.
does what he wants.
I'm going to be interested to see what he's putting there.
Here's
what
the
he's
thing,
thinking.
though. On our board here, our board that will be put.
Yep.
Do we put the majority of the Legion and then maybe put
where would you put this, Greg?
I would put it too. I agree with you.
You would put it as 2.
Yeah. So should we put it,
we can't.
What should we do for the board?
Let's just wait.
Are we counting Batman v Superman?
No. I
thought we said we were.
That's an honorable mention.
Honorable mention. It's not going to go on
which you
the
just ruined for everyone.
Well, that's not my fault.
You're just like, by the way, Batman v Superman.
Because how it went, Legion, was that Logan said, whatever Harry says is what it is. And I said, I think it should be in there.
Oh,
I thought
and
it was
then the conglomerate said, let's make it an honorable mention.
No,
So,
I got confused then. I
said it should be in the movie because I think it is just as important as a movie for Superman as it is for Batman.
So do we want to put it in there? So if we put it in there,
if we are putting that in,
I would put Superman the first movie at 4. And Superman 2 at 3. That's what I would do.
That's my ranking.
Okay, well I'm flipped. So
you're still going to
still
Superman
3
at 3
and then 4.
And this one at 4. All right. So here's what we'll do. The majority vote.
It's because
combining those.
You have to realize. Look at me.
It's wrong.
Look at me in the eyes.
I'm looking you in the eyes.
It has to do with it's the start. It's the beginning. Because without that,
I get it. I get where he's coming from.
I understand where you're coming from.
Here's what we'll
get where you're coming from.
It has to
just
listen,
the second one.
One of the only times I've ever done that in a series where the first one wasn't as good as the second one is Batman: The Dark Knight.
I agree with you.
How many other series can you honestly say that the second one was better than the first?
Tugboat Toves, Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock is definitely better.
Superman. Yeah. Tugboat Toves.
Yeah, I think the first one.
You think the first Spider-Man is better than with Doc Ock?
What?
Wow.
Yeah. You're wrong.
Whoa.
You're just wrong.
That's the weird thing about opinions.
Take your blood pressure medicine.
You should be as angry as I am. You should be more angry than me.
I am. This is my cold. This is my cold.
What the heck are we talking about?
Death in my heart. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We'll put the majority number on the board, but we'll put a little addendum of where the other one is.
This is also about two. You're just talking about two characters that I don't really care about: Superman and Spider-Man.
This guy over here.
All right. Okay.
He's just creating
We're moving
chaos.
on. We're moving
on.
We got to move on.
Chaos.
What, this door?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We're now scratch that Legion. We're now 1 to 7 instead of 1 to 6 because we got
going off
here we
the
go.
rails.
We're making it. We're gonna make it. It's on the board.
Is creating chaos.
He is, but it's okay. We love it. This is
fun.
what it's all about.
All right, 1 to 7.
1 to 7.
I am saying Superman at the 4.
Superman 4 and Superman
2 at the 3.
Yeah, and that's since that is what the majority spoke. That's what we're going to put on the screen. But we'll put a little
here's the
addendum
thing: all the others could still fall into place, and those could be the only 2 flipped from here.
Yeah, we could flip around as we go because we could as we disagree, we could end up flipping around.
Fall apart here.
Don't do it. All right,
this might put me over.
Superman 3. Superman 3.
Before you do that, hold on. Let me put a caveat on there.
Yeah,
I haven't seen these in
a long time.
20 years, maybe.
Okay, well there we go. All right, I saw Superman 2 probably.
My mom showed me all these when I was like really young. It's like, you need to see what these look like.
I'm
a couple years removed from watching.
Yeah, so I feel like I watched them maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I couldn't put.
I haven't seen them in a long time.
Okay, fair.
All right,
fair
caveat.
All right, that's a good caveat.
Good caveat.
Superman 3. Superman 3 takes an interesting turn toward the comedy. They hire Richard Pryor to come in as a guy who works for a computer program company. And the villain is not Lex Luthor. It's a guy named Ross Webster who creates a super robot meant to help fight Superman. And Richard Pryor helps Superman defeat the super robot. Just give you a very different feel than the first 2. The first 2 had comedy elements.
Yeah.
But they were definitely more of like a straight superhero movie.
Yeah, it took a weird turn.
Richard Pryor was hot at that point. Him and Gene Wilder were doing lots of movies together, and he was very funny. And he was very funny in this movie. But it did kind of feel like they injected Superman into a Richard Pryor movie.
Yeah.
So kind of weird. Still Christopher Reeves also becomes evil Superman in this movie where he gets altered and becomes like he starts drinking.
Yeah.
And he ends up fighting himself in a junkyard.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Now
he picks himself up and tosses it. Yeah.
Now his suit when he's evil, if you guys we'll put a picture of it up here. It looks very similar to like the color scheme of like Brandon Routh. It's like the deeper reds and the deeper blues.
Yeah. They didn't even make that big of changes.
No, he had a little 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
And
a little 5 o'clock. That's a different Superman.
Bad Superman doesn't shave.
Naughty.
He doesn't know. Yeah. And they fought in a junkyard.
Somebody forgot to turn off the BA meter today.
Somebody forgot to shave with his heat vision.
He's Hancock. That's what he is.
I will say, though,
true.
When he's like fighting himself, he's got his neck is thick.
Christopher Reeves was big dude,
He's like,
man.
He's a big dude.
He is. And that high contrast, and they made him kind of look dirtier.
Yeah.
It kind of helped accentuate the
This
veins.
guy's a little more doily. That's gotta be the bad Superman.
That's a good one. That's a bad one. It's very clear.
No, well, the best is that he goes in as the bad one to like a diner. And
Yeah.
they're like, "What's wrong with you, Superman?" And
Yeah.
he's like throwing people around. It's like,
I'm bad today.
I was like, "Oh yeah, I
woke up on the wrong side of the
I
bed.
got bags under my eyes."
I just did my taxes.
Where do we think this one falls?
This, for me, I'm putting it at the 6.
6.
I'm putting it at the 6.
So one
Out of
above
7.
the worst. Yeah.
Out of 7.
Where are you putting it?
I put it at the 6.
Or maybe I should go because then you can be the tiebreaker. Because I disagree. I'm gonna put.
What am I at? 3 and 4.
Your Superman 1 is at
You're
3,
you're
and
3
Superman
for
2 is at 4 for you. I'm gonna put it at 7 as the worst. I'm gonna put it at 7.
All right.
So he's got it at 6. I've got it at 7.
What do we have left?
One more Christopher Reeve.
One more Christopher Reeves.
Brandon
more
Ralph,
than we've done.
Ralph.
and then 2 Henry Cavill's.
More than we have done is left.
True.
I'm probably at 6.
6. All right. So
My
6.
man.
6 is
My
where it
man.
stays. Addendum or a little mark there. I put it at 7. All right.
Thank you.
Fair
Thank
enough.
you.
I'm
Yes.
not mad at 6. I'm definitely not mad at being at 6. All right.
Okay.
Superman 4. I definitely see why you put it there.
Yeah, you know where I'm going
Yeah,
with this.
100%. But
Yeah.
I agree, and I agree. But it's a little different.
I think our only shakeups are going to be in the uppers.
Probably.
I don't think any more are going to be on
Or
the low
the
end.
low.
Probably not.
No, I don't think on the
No,
low
I'm saying,
end
like-
anymore.
Okay, yeah.
Superman 4. This one got a tagline called "A Quest for Peace." Lex Luthor comes back as Gene Hackman reprises his role. He creates a clone of Superman called the Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man!
Pretty cool outfit. Pretty cool. Pretty close to the comics. Superman fights him. He ends up putting the Nuclear Man, who is powered by the sun, on the dark side of the moon. Yeah, my favorite moment in that movie.
Found there by the Transformers.
Yeah.
Yes.
My favorite moment in that movie is when when the Nuclear Man starts questioning Lex Luthor, and he's like, "Why should I listen to you? I'm the Nuclear Man." And Lex Luthor pulls the blinds in the room, and it like shuts him down. And I'm like, why doesn't Superman just like bring him inside?
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
then it'd be done.
Just lock him in a box.
There's a lot of loopholes.
There's a lot there.
A lot of loopholes.
But back to the more serious-ish tone,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Superman fighting an actual superpowered dude instead of just a giant nameless robot.
Doesn't he talk to the UN at the end too? Superman.
I think so.
How else would you?
Quest
Well,
for peace.
How else would you finish the quest of peace besides talking to the UN?
I feel like he gives a very
he disarms all the nuclear weapons.
Yeah, but he gives a very
Removes them all.
it's like a very Iron Man speech when Iron Man is before the Senate. Like
it's a little tongue in cheek.
well, it's like I privatize
Right.
national security.
Right.
You're welcome.
Right. He's like and then he's like, truth, justice, and the American way. I'm gonna get rid of everything
but
nuclear.
This is the UN.
Yeah.
But this is the UN.
But he's also a Kryptonian with amazing powers.
Right,
Like I
right.
wouldn't say no to him. If he's like, I'm gonna destroy this stuff, I'm like, okay. What are they gonna do for him?
Well, I mean, then we get into the idea of like how Superman could like go real bad, real fast with the doomsday scenario and everything.
Injustice, man, when he makes his own Earth, his own rule. All right, where are we putting this one?
I put it at the 5.
Ooh, 5. Interesting. Okay.
I put it at the 5.
5.
Silent pause.
I really just don't remember
Lot
this
of
one.
contemplation.
I don't remember this one. I don't
Lot
remember the
of
next one we're going to talk
contemplation.
about.
Ralph's.
Blattles.
All right, what do you do?
I'm gonna agree and put it at 5.
Okay, then I'll just agree and go to 5.
My man. There we go.
That's our difference. I know where you're putting.
Yeah,
Ralph.
you know what's
Fair.
happening.
And fair. I respect
You
that.
know where this is going.
Yeah.
Brandon Routh is in the
Number
one.
one. Well, I do feel bad for Brandon Ralph.
You can feel
I
bad
think-
for him and still be
bad.
be honest.
100%.
And still be honest.
Well, I was close. I was putting. Well, we'll get there. All right. So Brandon Routh, next movie. So Superman takes a really long hiatus, and then they finally come back with Brandon Routh coming in as it's Superman Returns.
Yeah.
And they essentially they pretend that 3 and 4 never existed.
Right.
And this takes place right after Superman 2, after he goes out to check on the wreckage of Krypton and see if it's actually true. He takes his ship out, and then when he returns, everything has changed.
Yep.
Lois Lane has married James Marsden, your favorite actor.
Hate him.
What if it was swapped? What if he was Superman? Would you hate it
Would
more?
James Marsden being Superman make you more?
I'm actually surprised he was never Superman.
He does seem like a good Superman.
He's got the face for it.
He does.
The pretty boy face.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll
explain.
Jawline.
Yeah, he's got a jawline. Good jawline.
I don't know if our conversation should be what could make this worse. I don't know if that's
we're not. We're just ranking it. But
like I think the conversation we should have is what could they have done at all right?
Not make Superman fight a piece of land.
Right. A lot of things.
Because here's the thing. Regardless of all of the controversy around Kevin Spacey, I think he did. I think he was a good Lex Luthor. He played a good villain.
He didn't look right bald, but yeah.
They never do. Nicholas Hoult, I don't think looks right bald either.
I think Nicholas Hoult looks pretty
I think he looks good bald. He looks like wrong, but in the right way.
I guess so. Maybe.
I think Nicholas Hoult looks.
I think Kevin Spacey looked very similar to Gene Hackman bald.
You know who didn't look good bald was Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. Oh my heavens.
He didn't.
That's
he just
why
doesn't
they didn't
make him bald at the beginning.
Good. I know, but he doesn't look when he is bald.
He doesn't look
good.
He
just doesn't look good.
Woof.
So yes, where would you put it? So so Kevin Spacey, or not Kevin Spacey. Yes, Kevin Spacey comes back as they bring Lex Luthor back. He's a real estate tycoon again. He buys up a continent and laces it with kryptonite, and then Superman has to fight the continent.
Right, and then Harry, can you look this up for me? Who is
the
female sidekick to Lex Luthor?
Oh,
I can
Miss
picture
Tessmacher?
it in my mind.
Yeah, who plays Miss Tessmacher?
I can picture it in my mind, but I cannot remember her name.
Yeah, you're right,
She's known for all of her indie films. That's the thing. She's in like A Mighty Wind and like that Best in Show.
Really? The mockumentaries.
I think so. I
like
so.
those. Those are
if
good.
I remember
what was her
correctly.
name?
Tessmacher? Miss Tessmacher?
What's her name?
He was asking what the character's name is.
I'm saying to him, what's her name as an actress?
While he's looking at that, where would you put it?
7.
You're gonna put that at 7. I would have put it at 6, but you know that's my flop.
Give me an explanation.
So my explanation for that is that they're the Richard Pryor Superman.
Sure.
I find there's nothing that makes me ever want to go back and watch it.
Okay.
Whereas there are moments in the Brandon Routh Superman where it's like it feels like Superman, and there's some cool stuff in it. Like some of his flying stuff. When he catches the plane over the baseball field, that's really cool. Him coming back in the ship is really cool. I like the dynamic that his son is left behind with Lois, and they don't know it's his son, but he starts developing powers because that's very in the comics. There was some really cool stuff, and it led up to like even the idea of having a kryptonite continent was cool if. When he got there, Lex fought him in a mech suit or something like that. That would have been cool. So I feel like there was so much of it, but I can't think of anything in Superman 3 that went right. Like what went right in Superman 3? They got rid of Lex Luthor. Yeah, but they got rid of Lex Luthor.
Like, think about that.
Right,
think about that.
But
Brandon Routh was supposed to be the new Superman.
But Brandon Routh gave us Henry Cavill.
Right, but
that's
Brandon
even better
Routh
than Superman 4.
Killed the entire DC plan again.
But Superman 4 wasn't good
either.
No,
you got to listen to me on this, okay? As a DC fan.
Yeah, there
was a plan for there to be an expanded universe around Brandon Routh launching that.
When did it come out in relation to Batman Begins? Was it before or after?
I can't remember.
Superman Returns. Because it didn't kill Batman.
No, but
it did kill the crossovers.
And it killed everything.
Okay, fair. I see that.
And so, there was this whole plan for them to be launching this connected universe. Whether they were going to call it the DCU or whatever they were going to call it.
What year did you think Batman?
What I'm saying,
when did Batman Returns come out?
When Superman Returns?
I'm sorry,
it was 2007. Superman Returns, 2006.
And when did
Batman Begins come out?
You don't know when this was?
Not off the top of my head, man.
Do you remember what the Dark Knight?
5
Dark Knight
using excuses.
Dark Knight was 2006.
5 children.
Dark Knight was 2006.
How does that make you not remember when you probably know?
Tell me.
Dark Knight was 2008.
Yes.
Batman Begins was 2007.
5.
Really? That far in between the two?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize
Batman
that.
Begins was first.
So Batman
And
Begins came out first, and Brandon Routh came out second to
where
connect
there
them.
was supposed to be some sort of
If
connection.
that's the case, that's bad.
And
That's a nasty knock.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Right. And
fair.
so
Well, where does Harry put it?
You're not understanding
7.
the level of pain
Cool.
that Harry and I feel around connected universes being destroyed.
Sure. Yeah, you've had a lot more of it.
DCU.
You've had a lot more of it than I have.
You've had none of it.
Well, you could argue that the Spider-Man trilogy died. You know why? Because he went to go do Superman Returns. Oh, no, that was X-Men. That was the X-Men director that went to go Superman Returns.
You're spoiled.
So, yeah. 100%. I'm not arguing that. That's why I'm saying you've had way more of it.
Okay.
Because would you
argue
that the MCU has started to burn, and now hopefully it's rising out of it? But we've had some nasty stuff.
Has it ended?
Not yet.
Has a movie killed it?
It maybe should have at some point.
You don't know our pain.
I know. I never said I did.
Yeah.
All right, so 7. We agree. It's 7. All right. So that's Ralph. Ralph did kill Superman for quite a bit.
Yep.
And then we get Zack Snyder's beginning of the Snyderverse with Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Man of
Now comes the real question.
We get
1 and 2.
gritty. Yeah, right. We got 1 and 2 left. We get more gritty Superman. A lot less. They went completely away from the lightheartedness. He still has some family ties, which is good. He's obviously still caring. We do have the controversial neck snap of General Zod, played by Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Right.
Michael Shannon is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I for some reason I was thinking that was the wrong last name. So we have that going on there. We get some really famous dads. Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Really good dads.
Russell Crowe.
The best dads. The best dads.
They both. I like Russell Crowe's death better though. Then, like his death.
Well, yeah.
As Jor-El was a lot better.
Yeah, because all we get is this, which is the dumbest death ever.
Says no.
No, but it's so stupid because nobody would have seen him.
He would have gone so fast.
He would have gone so fast.
And all of a sudden, he would have been back.
Yeah, nobody would have seen him.
Where'd the heart attack go? Heart attack was so much better.
Canon.
Right, the canon moment.
I agree with you.
All right, so
tornado?
They're definitely.
It's Arkansas,
Kansas.
dude. Kansas.
I understand.
Kansas.
I understand, but how does
Kansas,
he die? A heart attack.
Kansas.
The point.
Well, you know what?
Do you understand?
Wait, maybe he wasn't reaching out and saying no.
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
he's like, I'm having a heart attack, bro. Freaking help me out, dude. Superman's like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
He's saying no, so I guess it's just, I'll stay
You are the DC person. So do you understand why his dad's death is important in the comics?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
The one thing am I supposed to say it?
Either of you, I don't care.
It's fine, go ahead.
Either of you, I don't care. Tell him why.
It's because the one thing Superman can't control.
Right. Exactly.
Superman can control pretty much everything with his power.
Exactly.
But he can't control the failing of an organ.
Exactly.
Right.
And so...
Here, let me warm up your heart.
He could have controlled this situation.
flown backwards and turned the earth around and gotten you heart medication.
But he could have controlled this situation.
100%. Nobody knew that. And he knew how to use his powers at that point. He was old enough to know.
That is actually a dumb death.
If Clark had been
still
had been like 10...
Yeah,
it happened maybe because
right.
He didn't know, but he was
closer.
Like a 25-year-old.
Is it drastic enough to make it a 2?
Make it a 2 over 1.
Well, I have a caveat. Here.
I was going to ask you. My caveat might be the same thing you're thinking.
Okay.
Are we talking about
okay, hold on.
Batman v Superman?
Oh, no.
You put it here. You open this Pandora's box.
That's fine.
So you open the Pandora's box.
He picks.
You pick
extended version or regular theatrical version of Batman v Superman.
Extended version.
Okay, well, fair enough. All right, so where are you putting it?
2.
Wait, what? Batman v...
No. Man of Steel. We're talking about Man of Steel. That's my 2 then. If we're talking extended version, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel's the 2.
If it wasn't, it would be 1?
Yes. That is 100% the difference. Yes.
Ooh. Why?
Ooh, I'm gonna let you deal break it because
I can give you so many reasons why.
Because you guys are the DC people.
So many.
Maybe. Not because of the reasons of 1 and 2, but maybe because other people haven't seen.
Don't know the extended. Yeah, why that would elevate it so differently. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say Man of Steel is 1 if we're doing theatrical. If we're doing extended, I'm going to say they flip.
Yes, agree.
I agree with you. Do you agree or not? Because if you don't,
what was it one more time?
Man of Steel is 2.
2.
If it's the extended cut of Batman v Superman.
Extended cut makes it the number 1. Superman.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the explanation.
Do the DC wizards want to enlighten our fans who haven't seen the extended version why it elevates it so heavy?
Okay, so there are a lot of parts in the theatrical version of Batman v Superman that you have to make.
Martha, I'm just kidding.
They're a mess.
No,
they're a mess.
They're the storyline. You have to make a leap around.
A big leap.
Exactly. That's my point. And the extended version fleshes them out, so you have a better understanding around, for example, yes, the Martha one.
Why did you say that? Why did you say that?
That is a perfect example of one that gets fleshed out more.
Yeah, sure.
You have a better understanding of why that is a significant point. The other one is Batman's whole like background and why he's so dark and violent.
Yeah.
And it gets explained so much more and fleshed out so much more.
Yeah, you're like,
otherwise, you're like, why is this guy so violent?
Why is he branding people?
Right,
like he's
exactly.
Batman, and we've never seen a Batman like that.
Never.
Like if you read the comics, you've seen Batman go that dark. But as a normal film goer, you're like, hey, wait, why is this Batman like that?
Yeah,
I thought Batman didn't hurt people.
Also,
Batman had one rule.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor's plan. Like gets fleshed out so much more. 100%. Like the whole
does it make Jesse Eisenberg good?
No, it doesn't make Jesse Eisenberg.
No, it really doesn't.
No.
But it makes it better.
I'm not out here sitting and
we're not making
arguing
miracles.
that. Yeah, we can't.
We talk about Superman.
But
right.
Like Batman kills in this movie,
right?
And we know why. No, 100%.
Every movie.
Listen,
every movie. Does.
I will say this.
Does he?
No, they just go to sleep for a really long time.
They're
They're so tired after fighting me. They have to take a nap.
They're on the farm with my parents and Dr. Fishy.
But
Pete Holmes, we love you. Come on our show.
Is this, where do you put Pete Holmes Batman? Top tier. Number one.
No one's better.
There's 8 Batman movies.
Lego Batman.
Number one, Pete Holmes.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, there are so many parts when you were watching it in theaters, we were like, why is this happening?
100%.
I tried in my mind to justify when we first see Batman come on the scene, like maybe that guy wouldn't have died. Maybe that guy wouldn't have died. And then I was like, that dude is
modern
dead.
medicine's pretty good.
I was like, he killed that guy.
That's a big gun.
He killed that guy.
All those dudes are shot.
Yeah.
They're all dead.
But we get a much fuller, fleshed out, understandable story in Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
The battle at the end, it carries so much more weight because in the theatrical version, you're like, there's no reason Batman and Superman should be fighting.
Right.
There's no reason.
Right.
You have no understanding.
And
in the extended version, we see how Lex manipulated so many situations along the way for them to actually then be at odds and come to a climactic battle.
Right.
In the theatrical version, you're like, why are they fighting?
Batman could have literally had like one sentence with Superman, and Superman would have been like, "Oh, okay," and he would have like read his heartbeat and been like, "Oh, he's not lying," and they would have been fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But Lex Luthor sowed so much.
Yeah, and they just cut all of that, and you're like, when you see
that's Warner Brothers for you.
Extended version.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and you're like, this makes so much more sense.
It's the same.
So much more sense.
It's the same as like Zack Snyder's Justice League. That was actually a pretty legit movie.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it was like 6 hours long, but it was like
I agree
really
with you.
Good.
I agree with you.
And they just cut it up, man.
Yeah,
you
cut it all up. Chopped up.
Well, I mean, they had one of the greatest directors, so.
Right, Zack Snyder can do no wrong. Fair. We don't believe that, Zack Snyder. You've done some good things and you've done some not so good things. But your Batman v Superman, we know that he was rushed. We know he was rushed. He wanted to make a solo Batman film. He wanted to make a whole bunch of things before he got there.
Yeah.
The Warner Brothers rushed him, and the extended version was a pretty freaking decent movie.
But
and definitely
again,
up there at the top.
Let's go back. I do want to go back to this one point we talked about a little bit earlier, which was Batman or Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne meet each other face to face
at a party.
At a party.
Yeah.
Batman looks at him and goes, "That's Superman."
Yeah.
Superman looks at him and it goes, "That man is Batman."
Yep.
Nobody. The best part was when Jimmy Kimmel does the actual thing where he comes up drunk to them and he's like, "That guy's Superman."
He's like taking off his glasses.
He's like, "Look, and wait a minute, you're Batman." And it's like, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, there is zero hidden stuff in this. Dude, Henry Cavill is, what is he, 6'2"?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
200
he's like
95 foot-pounds of pure muscle.
He is big.
I'm exaggerating.
Brandon Routh. Can you check out Brandon Routh? We'll see the stats. So we've got 6'4" for
Brandon
Reeves.
Routh is dumb.
6'4" for Reeves at 212. Brandon Routh, I think, is pretty similar. I think he's probably 6'3",
Brandon Routh.
220 something.
Stupid.
Well,
Brandon Routh is 6'2".
6'2", and how much did he weigh as Superman? Do you know?
47 pounds soaking wet.
He wasn't that bad.
He was bad.
He was better in the Kingdom Come crossover in the Flash show.
Yes.
When he got to come back as like kind of redeem himself a little bit.
He was between 220 pounds.
That's what I thought. 220.
220, 225.
Okay, and then Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's a little shorter though. I think. I don't think Henry Cavill's quite as big.
Henry Cavill's like 6 foot.
Yeah,
he's 6'1".
He's 6 foot and a half.
Yeah,
the way they shot him though, they made him look like 12 feet tall.
Yeah. Well, what I appreciate about Henry Cavill is that
he's 220 pounds.
220. Yeah, but he's also like
shorter.
3 inches shorter.
Right.
Like the difference in like muscle tone between the two is just
it's a world of difference.
But for being we're talking 2 inches of height,
right.
which is
not
a lot,
amount,
but it's not. It's not. Let me put it this way: it's not enough.
Right. Well,
none of us were sitting there wondering if Brandon Routh was going to take off his shirt.
Right.
No.
Like none of us were there, being like, "Look at this guy," and every guy was like, when Henry Cavill ran up the beach and steals the shirt, we're like, "Sweet."
What I appreciated about Henry Cavill, they didn't do it as much in Batman v Superman or in Justice League, but they leaned him out a bit. But what I appreciate about Man of Steel was that they let him not be as low of body fat. They let him hold a little bit more of that weight.
Was massive.
So he looked freaking like a tank.
His chest was like huge.
He's freaking huge. And genetically, he's just very blessed in that area. And they let him keep a bit of that weight on. So he just looked like a tank.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see a Superman like that.
A tank Superman.
All right, so that's our rank. You can see it here on the screen. Let us know in the comments if you think it's different or if you agree with us. And let's get that last. What was David Cornsweat's? What's his stats? Because he's coming in as the new Man of Steel. He's coming out.
Pretty sure he's 6'4".
Yeah, he's pretty tall, but he's a little bit leaner than what Henry Cavill got.
He's not just leaner; he's skinny.
He's not skinny.
He is skinny.
Yeah. I think you'll be surprised. Well, who knows if we'll see him in a shirtless. I mean, we all know. He might not. It might not be that kind of movie. We're going to see him
with the underwear is going to be ridiculous. That's the underwear on the outside.
They had a good reason for that, though.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
So he's 6'4", so he's the same height as Christopher Reeves.
Okay. Yeah. And Christopher Reeves was 212.
He's 238 pounds.
Jeez,
he's the heaviest Superman.
Man. All right, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see what he looks like. I mean,
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
He was the size of me in 9th grade.
You had... Jesus. You had a very interesting point. Okay. You said, what if they shot him at different weights at different points in the movie?
Yeah, depending
on like a Kingpin then.
What was it?
Kingpin.
Yeah.
When he's like that he's been weakened.
When he's been weakened.
And
he said like that
looks looser.
That scene where we see him all beat up in the snow, calls for crypto.
Yeah.
What if we saw him at that point and he is like, maybe they digitalized it in some way, or maybe they just got him when he was
in process
smaller, and then like he put on the bunch of weight and he's bigger in a final battle scene.
And
I don't know. That could be cool.
There's some evidence to that because the sneak peek that James Gunn revealed is him right after that scene being brought into the Fortress of Solitude and being healed by the sun, and like you see him kind of like picking up out of the seat. So maybe that's like refilling his
I hope
muscle.
So. That would be cool.
I mean,
that
the numbers
I could get behind.
The numbers are pretty
for
big.
themselves.
They're pretty big.
6'4", 238.
All right. One last little
fighting weight.
That is fighting weight.
One last little funny trivia here.
Reach.
We were talking about how all the Clark Kents, like Reeves did a really good job of making Clark be very different. Henry Cavill didn't really do that great of a job. He still looked like Superman. Brandon Routh, we don't talk about.
Imagine he comes in suave and he like pulls his glasses off, and they're like,
well, so there is
hey.
James Gunn in an interview recently said it was asked about, Superman, just the character, and he said the one thing he couldn't get behind was how do people not know that Clark is Superman? How does this work?
Oh, he's wearing a hat or glasses.
Right. And he's like, that's just to him it didn't work. Yeah. Well, the consultant he had from DC that was helping him with it brought up something from Superman lore that James Gunn has used in this movie, which is, and it's ridiculous.
Well, we know how those...
It is!
I know. Yeah.
Hypno glasses. So the glasses frames were built out of the lenses or the windows from his space shuttle, and they have Kryptonian technology in them that when people see it, it hypnotizes them into not recognizing who he is. So as long as he has the glasses on, they know he's not Clark. Right. Now, that's super campy.
It is campy.
But
most
it
of this movie is
makes
campy.
a reason. And you know what? Like, that's kind of the Superman we want, because we want him to be different than Batman. We don't need another gritty dude. We got Batman. No. So let him be that camp, lean into it. And James Gunn leans into that stuff.
Yeah, but
so he's got hypno glasses, man.
I hear you, but if we make everyone camp... What the heck, dude?
Batarang!
But if we make, but then he needs to make Batman dark.
Well, so he actually also came out in a recent interview where he said the reason why the Batman project for him, because Matt Reeves just posted an image that his script is done for the Batman 2.
Yeah.
Or at least in the final stages.
Yes.
What James Gunn in a recent interview said, the reason why he's a little slow on the Batman movie is because for him, Batman is his biggest quote-unquote problem, because he wants to make him as dark as the comics, and he can't figure out the right way to do it yet, and he wants to do it right.
Okay.
So that's encouraging.
But I thought he was doing Brave and the Bold.
So that's one of the runs he's drawing inspiration from with Damian in the League of Shadows. That could be really dark with an older Batman, but he wants to do it right, and that's his biggest thing. Is he knows he's good at the more lighthearted, and he wants to do Batman right and make him dark. So to me, that's a good sign that he recognizes his own weakness, and he wants to do it right by the fans.
Well, then but
he's going to bring it. He's not going to direct it.
That's my point. He needs to then, if he does this right, he needs to step back and do the Big Kev, role, and do the Big Kev role right.
Exactly.
Like the way it was done in the early phases.
Yes.
Not first phase, because we know that was a
second, third,
committee that got fired.
Second, third, and part of fourth.
Right. Like, that time period, he needs to step into that. So if you know you can't do dark, there's nothing wrong with that.
And
that's
he knows it, which is good.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Get somebody who can do dark and have them do it.
All right, guys. What do you...
Dennis Villeneuve. I'm just throwing it out there. That Dune, Dune is great. Yeah. So,
maybe. I wonder if he would do a superhero movie.
Dune is dark the way it should be dark. Now,
but I wonder
are there
if he
issues
would do a
with the plot?
Movie.
I'll get it. That's a separate
Watch our
conversation.
Episode on that.
but that grittiness is the right grittiness.
There are definitely directors who can do it, and I'm happy that Gunn realizes that he's not the one to do it, or that that's his kind of weakness, and he wants to do it right.
Sure.
Good signs. All right, guys. Leave it in the comments whether you agree with our list or not. And we hope you guys like Superman.
Wait, what did we end up with the final list?
So number 1 was Batman versus Superman.
Okay.
Number 2 was Man of Steel.
Extended cut.
Right, extended cut. Number 2 was Man of Steel. Number 3 was Superman 2. Number 4 was Superman 1. Number 5 was Superman 4. Number 6 was Superman 3. And number 7 was Superman Returns.
Okay, so it's my list. It is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, you and I only agreed on the 1.
I know.
6 and 7.
And
he only agreed on the 1 with the 3 and the 4.
Right, but
it ended up being yours.
It's my list.
Way to go. Are you happy now?
Are we talking about Superman?
So no.
So no.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time on the Legion of Comic Correction.